of war and evil days are in the earth. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakatum. And this is your brother Yara coming back at you, man. And I'm gonna speak a little bit about the dream while I'm in transit here. Real brief about the dream, Jake had. And he basically broke down, as I'm listening to him in this dream, he basically broke down 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, the latter part, like around verse 30, and Isaiah 4 and 1, okay? Just a vision that he had, okay? And he said it was all Gen Zers, and that's in Joel, the 2nd chapter, around the 28th verse, and I believe it's Acts, the 2nd chapter as well, that quotes Joel 2, where the scriptures say, men will dream dreams, okay? And he was going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh, all right? So people are going to start to see things that are going to happen, okay? They're going to start seeing, maybe not exactly how it's going to go down, but they'll see a visual representation of what's going to go down, okay? Like John the Revelator, he saw the red dragon in his vision, but that was not going to be a literal red dragon that was going to go. It's going to be representative of something, okay, that was going to happen in the latter time. And he did see visions, I would call them premonitions, where he literally saw things that were going to happen in the earth. Like he saw through like a monitor, basically. He just looked through saw the actual future, man. Okay, that goes into Revelation 9. He saw glimpses of World War I. Okay, he saw the charagma of that being administered in Revelation 13. Okay, he saw these things. Okay, so we're in those times of visions where the Lord is getting ready to start to confirm His word. Now, the main confirmation of His word is prophecy. Okay, but the real power of prophecy is having men out there to say these things before they happen. Otherwise, people would just think it's a phenomenon. Well, no, the Lord's going to send men out there to tell you what's going to happen first. And then the Lord is going to have those things come to pass. Okay? That's the power. That's how you know the Lord is in the earth, man. Okay? How do you know a man of the Lord? Does he speak the prophecies? Does he have the prophetic breakdowns down pat and accurate, man? And we've been telling you the same exact thing. Now people are having visions of these things, like the lady who had the vision of the angels being, she said black men or African American men, but those are the angels, man. Okay, who look like us. Okay, so why are they having these dreams? And we're in a time where you got all of this UFO disclosure. They're claiming to have this and that. They're seeing more crafts than ever. Okay. And here we are on the brink of World War III, and people are having these visions and these dreams, man. It's gonna get really, really ugly, man. America hasn't seen war hit its soil yet. That's some shit, because America has been behind pretty much 90% of all of the wars in the earth over the past 100 plus some years. Okay, you had a couple conflicts between other nations and among each other, but 90% of it has been America fomenting these wars, and they have yet to experience war on their own soil since what? The Civil War? Something like that. There may be a war after that, maybe like the American-Spanish War or something like that. So these people haven't really seen war. Even when World War I, World War II went down, people really, really felt it here, man. Okay, the women were in there making bullets and various equipment. Okay, the Ford Motor Company, okay, turned all of their factories from cars to making military equipment, planes and tanks. Okay, people really, really felt it here. But even then, you didn't really have any damage done on this side. Okay, we had we had a base in Hawaii. Okay, that got bombed, but Hawaii wasn't even a state until after that, I believe. Okay, I believe Hawaii and Alaska were the last two states that were added on, like around the year 1950 something. Okay, so like this place, that's the reason they call this the place of unwalled villages, and it's referred to as the virgin daughter, is because this place really hasn't been penetrated yet, okay? But whether you believe it or not, it has been penetrated. These people have crossed the border. They're already here. They get ready to spoil America. Donald Trump is revving up the National Guard for all of these various different things because he already knows, okay? They can tell just by how excise taxes go up, like how much taxes are people paying at Target and convenience stores, okay? If those things go up, okay, beyond the birth rates, they can tell that there's more people in the country, okay, that are not being accounted for, because they only do the census every 10 years, okay? They did one in 2020, and I believe they timed it right after the 2020 census, okay, to have all of these people flood in, which they've always been coming over the border, but I think an egregious amount came in right after the 2020 census. That's my theory, okay? So you have way more than the 360 million they say is on paper, okay? It's way more than that, way more people here than that. Who are they? What are they here for? All right? Why is Donald Trump getting so, you know, so tight in the pants about law and order, and we got to do something about crime, crack down on drugs, because he wants to have the justification of violence, man, okay? And if you niggas think that you can't go back on a plantation in 2025, you out of your mind, man. Really, you never really left one. But if you think he can't physically put you back on one, you out of your mind, man. You see what these small hats are doing. They're openly in front of people, man. And y'all, for some reason, y'all convinced that they've changed. They had a change of heart. No, they didn't have a change of heart. They had a change in strategy, okay? And that strategy was to pacify you, or they robbed the earth blind, man. It literally says in Isaiah 14, everything is gonna rejoice when this nigga goes down, okay? Because he's been that busy, okay? The reason he took his foot off the necks of the Israelites physically is so he can go around the rest of the earth and put the foot on their neck physically. But see, all of that greed, it's backfiring on them. Like Netanyahu bombed 10 countries in the last 2 years. See, they're escalating too quickly. Now that everybody's wise to them. That's why BRICS is set up, all right? So, you know, going back to the point in the dream, the Lord is going to tell you these things before they happen, man. And he saw a lot of women basically crying, man, okay? Out of order. And with these women, this is the worst generation and worst quality of women that have ever existed, man. And that's sad, because there's more technological advancements, there's more knowledge, understanding of how things work than ever before, yet you have the lowest quality of women, man, the lowest quality of food. All right? How do you have all of these things going on, man? You know? Because the hammer of the earth is in rulership, okay? So these women that the brother saw in the dream, all right, they were crying. They were in desperation, man, okay? And men weren't trying to hear it, okay? He mentioned something like, one of them said they'll be the seventh wife, which 7 is a spiritual number. It represents completion or totality, okay? That means all of these women that are walking around proud, they're too good, they have no idea what's coming, man, okay? And a lot of these men that are walking around, they're so-called high, but a lot of them are gonna get clipped. A lot of them won't even get clipped. They're just gonna bitch up, and they're gonna be disgusting by these women, okay? These women do not like men that bitch up when it's time to fight, okay? It don't matter what you look like, man. If you ball up in the corner and start crying, you ain't getting no hoes, okay? You got to figure out a way to gird up and do what's in your nature to do when you're backed into a corner, which is fight, okay? But the Lord already reserved the minds of the elect to do what he needs us to do, man, okay? And so these women, when they look around, they're not going to see very many men, okay? Even if they're male, they're not going to have very many men, because the scriptures say that in Jeremiah, you know, men will be as women. Therefore, born to fight. They will be like women, basically, okay? Running around crying, asking for directions, what's going on, how do you do this, okay? being calm, cool, and collected is going to be, you know, basically a superpower. Okay? Because it's going to be rooted in our faith and knowing what's happening. That's why the Lord gave us the understanding, and he blinded everybody else, man. You got to call Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? Because just knowing what's going on is going to be enough to just level set you. All right? And that's fertile ground enough for the Spirit to deal with you, man. Okay? Because as the scriptures say, the wisdom will not rest in I forget the word, in an unclean soul. I forgot the word. Okay? But if you got a frantic, you know, whole ass spirit on you, panicking in your flesh, the Spirit of the Lord is not going to rest on you, man. All right? And you got to do that before all hell breaks loose, because there's going to be a spiritual arc. The door of the spiritual arc is going to close. Okay? And you know, although it may not be visible, there is an arc. Okay? And the elect are on there. Okay? And there's no way we could save you, even if it's a family member, man. Okay? If you told a family member the truth and they scoffed at you or just shrugged it off and whatever, you ain't gonna be able to save them. Okay? When the scriptures say, "My sheep know my voice," okay? And some of them, there may be hope. The Lord may open their minds up at the last minute beforehand. Or you might get a phone call before all hell breaks loose. Hey, but it ain't up to you, man. And you got to be okay with whoever the Lord chooses to save, man. Because you're great. You should be grateful that the Lord chose you to be saved, man. If he does, okay? Because we know we're going to be scarcely be saved, man. This is a humbling feeling, man. Okay? And we're not going to be in the spirit of, oh yeah, I got a bunch of holes in Isaiah 4:1. No, man. You know. We're going to have them, but our mind is going to be locked in on something much, much greater. We're going to really see women for what they really are. Because see, even though brothers are in the truth and we know we understand women and things of that nature and the nature of them, you still got to constantly rebuke the demon that's been programmed into you about what level these women are on, man. You know? We ain't even supposed to have to, like, address women a certain way, but you kind of get in the habit of doing that because this is their kingdom and you gotta you know, curb your words and shit around them and like not offend and do this and do that and kind of know. You gotta, it's like a whole science just being able to move around women in a way that's beneficial to you, you know? In that day, we ain't gonna have to worry about that, man, okay? You know? Because they're gonna be set in their natural order, and the elder out there up in Iowa was going into that, man, okay? About how these women they gonna remember their nature. Okay, I put it to you that way. They're gonna understand what their true role is. Okay, and it ain't in front of a man or even on side of a man. Okay, it's behind a man, and in that day they're gonna be underneath. Okay, because you really got one time to roll your eyes and get an attitude, you out of there. Okay, really, we're gonna have the spirit to just know if you ain't right to begin with. Okay, because in that vision that the brother was saying, a lot of them were just being told no, 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 no. It's gonna be a lot of spinning the block. Okay, when this World War III draft gets popping. Okay, and they all gonna take the chip. You know. So hey, we're in those times, Doc. You keep putting up prayers, going on a fast. We got the Feast of Weeks coming up, and the Day of Atonement, you know, around the corner. So hey, take this thing seriously, man, and remember what you're a part of, because you're going to be tried. Okay, all right. So I'll end it there, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rachaf Tasha B'Wam. Call me Yahshua.